Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of the BSR Black Star Reflections podcast. It's a beautiful evening today.
Nice one. Yeah, good evening, guys. Well, whatever time it is when this goes out.
That you're watching
it's
this
the evening right now. Yeah.
It's another good day.
Another day. Long day, but good day. Right
Yeah. I mean, we were talking all day and it was like, man, I just can't wait to finish work and all of that.
Yeah, it's just one of those days where things are like, you feel very sluggish. You don't feel yourself.
Yeah, literally.
The energy's a bit off. But
a lot, man. Very lethargic. But yeah, we got there in the end.
We're here. I mean,
it's one of those days.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, there's a lot's been happening.
Yes.
And obviously, that's why we're here to reflect.
Yes, sir. This is time for therapy. This is therapeutic. This is why we do this, right? It's so that when we get away from the craziness that is, daily lives and stuff.
Exactly.
We can sit down, and talk about stuff.
And then reflect.
Exactly.
And then reflect. I just want to start.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
go. I just want to start with US elections. We know because on the Black Star Reflections podcast, we hardly dig so much into politics, but obviously we read. So
of course
we know what's going on in the world and all of that. So obviously, talking about the US politics and the recent elections that happened. Firstly, I want to take it step by step. Were you surprised of the results?
I wasn't surprised. I think it would have. Well, I felt that it was going to go the way it went.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
You had no feeling, no gut feeling that just maybe Kamala could take it. You had no feeling.
I didn't think so. I think, in terms of where the world is at, let's say where the US is at, and I say the world because the US is arguably the most influential nation on this planet, and so whatever happens there affects every country. There's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
And so I feel like where the US has been, and then therefore the world, what's happening in the world, I feel like the type of person that would be able to, influence certain things and would be able to speak on certain things in a certain manner will bring that kind of like assertive approach to things. I feel like
that was Trump for you though.
Yeah, that's my opinion anyway.
Mind you live in the UK, so obviously you, because from what I've heard, I'll get there because like I said earlier, I want to break it down.
Yeah.
For me, on the other hand, I was just having that feeling that maybe Kamala could pull up a surprise, and that's how I was feeling.
Yeah.
For a long time, but I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised with the results at all. And I can't remember when I last checked before. I think Trump got over 270, which is to win.
Yeah.
I think it was 261 or something. I'm thinking, definitely this guy's gonna take it.
Yeah.
I just had that feeling.
Yeah.
And then on the CNN they put out the wall.
Yeah.
They put out the wall and I see his face smiling in the corner. I'm thinking, man, this guy's probably at home thinking, MAGA.
Yeah.
We're making America great again.
Of course.
It's one of those. I think he played a good card. Because throughout the whole time when Uncle Joe had to step off and obviously Kamala had to take the reins, he saw an opportunity, right? Because obviously it's more difficult to beat a sitting president than a vice president.
Yeah, I would say so too. I agree with that.
And then he's looking at it and thinking, okay, what can I do here? He set out a clear message to the American people. I think, in my opinion, that he was addressing the issues that people were going through.
Yeah.
And Kamala, on the other hand, was addressing some of the issues, because I followed her for a while, and I could see that she was not only, but mostly talking about Roe versus Wade, was it?
Yeah.
The abortion stuff, and just diligently talking about it.
Yeah.
Saying, this is the guy you want to vote for. I'm gonna make sure you take charge of your body. But I'm thinking Americans are not thinking like that. Probably they're all thinking, but I just need some more money, and I need the wall built.
Yeah.
Illegal immigrants not coming in and swooping in, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because the majority of Americans just want to be protected. They want to feel like, man, this is our land. We have to be the best. We got to be the best in the world. That kind of stuff, that kind of feeling.
Like this, one of the things, I feel like we're going to segue into something else related on topic. But I feel like this is one of the things that people don't want to really admit in terms of like the immigration stance of Trump, and then let's say the Republican Party and then whatnot. I feel like, yes, the way he communicates his opinion about immigration and stuff, yes, there may be certain things that are unsavory.
Yeah.
His approach may not be the best. But in actual fact, like, if you are a citizen of any country, you live in a country, then all of a sudden you begin to notice, there's all these people from other countries trooping in. At first you're cool with it, and then all of a sudden, like, they're moving into your neighborhood, like things are changing.
Policies are being changed.
Policies are being changed.
And all of that,
then sometimes it happens that it's driving the cost of living up as well, especially if these people are coming, they're of a certain class, or they come in, they get work, they get employed, and then their purchasing power goes up, and then they start to drive up the cost of living. So I feel like for every country, or most countries, have this issue. Even in Ghana, there's a time when one of our West African neighboring
countries,
there's lots of them moving into the country, and people were like really. Even today, people are still quite upset at it and saying, there's so many of these people around here, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing for people in the US, people in Canada, people in the UK.
You can't,
so
can't
I feel
really
like
blame them,
the native people in that country, they have the right to be able to say, do you know what? We're okay with, they may be okay with immigrants to a certain extent, but can we just stop it here, or
can we,
especially if it's illegal immigrants? If it's illegal, then of course, if these guys are coming in, crossing the border, and they are not vetted. Majority of them, people are running away from criminal convictions. People are they are coming to expand criminal enterprises and stuff. So fair play to them. All of these things need to be checked, and then they have the right to complain about these things. And I feel like, like I said, it's something that even us Africans, some African countries experience a lot of migration into the country, and then we have similar experience. But then when other people talk about it from Canada or from the US or from the UK,
people are like, you racist, or
it's
that's not the case.
That's not always the case.
That's not the case. To be honest with you, I think what Trump did, because we all know Trump will make smirky comments here and there, and then he'll say some people eat the cats and the dogs and all of that. But in as much as he does that, he still addresses the issues.
Yeah.
Because he's one to find those issues that most American people were talking about or complaining about, so to speak. And then he'll say, look, this is what I'm going to do. And because of his background and the things that he did, people know, man, this guy says it, he would do it. Because he says promises made, promises kept.
Yeah.
So he will come in and he'll probably sign 50 executive orders in a day.
Yeah.
Addressing all those issues.
Exactly, yeah. He's
all, but I'm not going to waste time here. I'm signing it and I'll show it to you.
He's all action, not all talk. Exactly.
Isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things. So that's the American side of things. And they also know that he's going to protect American businesses.
Yeah.
Because he's a businessman. He's not even a politician.
Exactly,
in the first place, is he? So they know, Trump definitely is going to be America over China, isn't it? Everybody knows. Everybody knows, yeah. And then aside from that, in terms of the world relations and the things that's going on, the security, world security, so to speak, people feel he's the best person to sort of address it. And there was rumors that he spoke to Russian president, Big Vlad.
Shouts to Big Vlad.
big Vlad on the phone as well. But I think both sides have now sort of saying that nothing happened. But whatever it is, you can only imagine. You can only imagine. And I wonder how most Democrats are feeling. I think they didn't do something bad to lose it. I think it's just about what they didn't do right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they were in power and they could see the kind of things that they had to address.
Yeah.
And then all they had then to do is just hit the nail on the head here and say, look, we didn't do this, but I'm going to do this. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can look, I don't follow American politics too much.
I don't really follow it.
But you can look in the Democratic hierarchy and think, who's going to go next now? Because clearly Vance is going to go after Trump is gone.
Oh, for Republicans.
It looks more like, it will be his time.
The guy,
And then it feels again that Trump's beginning to own the Republican Party now, isn't it? Man's got to say.
Well, I guess
believe it or not, it's like the Kennedys for it's gonna be a household name.
Yeah,
Trump.
I guess we'll find out. We'll find
out in the next couple of.
I just want to say that we're in no way declaring any political stance or anything.
Yeah,
as we said, these are the geopolitics affects. As the name suggests, geopolitics. And so
it affects everybody.
Yeah, it affects every country to a certain extent. Especially where the US is concerned, and so it's just our opinion. And as I said earlier, a lot of these things are happening or are mirrored in maybe on a smaller scale in the countries that we live in and we're from. We're immigrants ourselves, and so some of these things that are said about immigrants, of course, we feel the same displeasure about certain things that are said about immigrants in general. However, we must be put ourselves in the shoes of of the countries that are experiencing this sort of thing, as we have been before in Ghana and other countries. South Africans can relate.
It happened in Nigeria.
Nigerians can relate.
There's lots of Ghanaians in Nigeria.
Yeah, they kicked us out. Shouts to all the Nigerians watching.
Man. Ghana must go.
Yeah, this happened in the 80s or something.
Go. Yeah, so in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those.
It's just one of them things.
If we do it to our own people, why wouldn't the West? Why wouldn't the West do it to others? I mean, it's just. But speaking of immigrants, by the way, man, I don't know, but I think being a first generation immigrant in the Western culture, I believe there are struggles with it. I mean, there are benefits. I'm not gonna just say it's all struggles and all of that, but there are some struggles that goes with it, obviously, because you come in, and I'm sure a lot of first generation immigrants, so basically people who have come here and have no parents here, or so to speak, to come in schooling or they come in to work or whatever it is. I feel that it's not a smooth sail.
Yeah, of course. For most people, it isn't.
I mean, people want to do it. I'm sure our brothers and sisters back home, if they have the opportunity to come here to school or come here to study, they would to work or whatever it is, they'll jump on that wagon. But it's not a smooth sail. If you'd like to throw a bit of light on yours, I mean, obviously, because you're first generation, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just like I am.
Yeah.
So, in your own experience, what are some of the struggles? I want to talk about the struggles first, because I feel like it's easier to end on a good note.
Of course. Well, there's loads of struggles. I mean, firstly, For me, I first lived in Canada, so for about 6 years, and the first thing is if you don't have any direct family or at least any family that lives close to where you're going, so you basically go into a place, you have no friends, you have no family, and then you basically just have to like figure it out, plant your feet, start your life, figure out everything. So in my case, I went to study. I was the first.
You had no family.
I didn't have any family. Yeah. I have like
Friends,
distant family
cousins and stuff
that
like
I
that. Yeah.
ended up finding out were there. Like after a while,
Africans always have long distance family.
Yeah.
People somewhere. I mean, you
Bro,
go China, or your uncle lives in Shuaisheng. Go make sure you say hello to him.
We're literally everywhere. Ghanaians and Nigerians are notorious for this. We're everywhere. Yeah, but so it was like that, trying to figure things out, making friends, learning about the country through your friends, and one of the big things I'll talk about some of the very
some experience
simple
that you went through.
stuff. One of the big things for me is when I first moved to Canada about nine or so years ago. I went there, over 9 years ago. I went to Canada, at the time I wasn't really like I wasn't like a cook or anything. I didn't really know how to cook. I could make like my my noodles. I could fry my eggs.
Pot noodles all the time,
bro. So I get there. I'm like, okay, cool. Since I'm not that much of a cook, I mean, over time I learned. The little I know, I learned. I'm not saying I'm a master chef or anything.
Yeah.
Shouts to my wife.
Yeah.
But the little I know, I learned. But the first like few weeks, bro, it was a struggle because you go to the grocery store, you go to a Walmart, and then like you're looking around, just like, okay, what can I buy? Obviously, at that time, as I said, I didn't know how to cook, so I'm not looking for like chicken thighs or beef or something that I'm gonna cook. I'm looking for something I can take home and then I can just put in the microwave and eat.
Yeah. So you say just to get you right. So you're saying it was coming into a new system like here, where you're not, because back home you probably got food cooked by mom and sisters and stuff like that.
My mom,
and now you had to sort of learn. It's a new skill that you had to
pick up a new skill. And back home, like you could. Even if you didn't know how to cook or you didn't have anyone to cook for you, you could step outside, go into the street,
some wache or some
seriously wache kinky, with the little bit of money you'd be sorted.
Yeah.
So I had to
But you can't find that here though, is it?
No,
you just there's no jollof joint or Indomie joint somewhere that you can.
There's no like street side person, But anyways. The first thing that I ate, I went to Walmart. I was looking like the frozen food section, the stuff that's ready to eat. I just going through. I see the stuff with cheese and see all these types of things. I'm like, nah, I can't eat this. I can't. And then the first thing I saw was like butter chicken and rice.
Oh,
so I saw that, and for me, I'm checking visually. I'm not looking at the labels. Like, if I see it and it looks like something I can eat, then I actually go ahead and read the label and see what it says.
Yeah.
So I look at the thing and I was this thing looks like rice and stew.
Yeah, man.
And I see some chunks of meat on it. So I looked at it, it said butter chicken. I don't know what that means, but it looks...
Say Tingobio.
So I took it and then I was actually the first thing I ate. I was like, Indian food is it's actually banging,
Yeah, it's good.
So it's just that... The smallest things that you might not even think about to begin with, because when you're moving abroad, you're thinking about, okay, how am I gonna start my life and settle there and and all of that, get a good job.
Yeah,
but you don't think about small things. So that's one of the really small things for me. What about you?
Well, it's always a change. It's always a change because I was coming from a system where. Like just like you, I'm sure, where things were a bit chaotic, not to downplay, but there was no system in place.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, And then I come into the UK, And then I'm looking at the bus systems. The things that intrigue me, if the bus said, oh, it's going to be there 2053, it's going to be there 2053. And if you are not there, it's going to go. You know, and then it's like, man, it's amazing how the system works. That's the things that intrigued me when I first got here. And because obviously I said in the previous episodes that I had been to South Africa before. And, and it's quite similarities between South Africa and here. Yeah. Especially in Joburg and Cape Town. But obviously I didn't stay there for that long. So I come in here, I'm thinking, okay, cool. What's the thing that intrigues me most here? I look at the system and I look at the work-wise of things. People get paid per time. Yeah. As opposed to back home where obviously if you say you're on a monthly salary of $500 equivalent, that is what you get. Yeah. If you stay in work 5 hours over, 6 hours over, 10 hours over, you still get your $500. Yeah. But here, I was looking at staying in work for extra 5 hours and I'm thinking, so I made an extra $200.
Your time and a half.
Well, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, flipping out, that system works here. Yeah. So then my mindset had to sort of be acclimatized to the ways that I was in. So that intrigued me a bit. But I was happy about that. The struggles though was the fact that when we come in here, most of our certificates that we've worked so hard back home, it doesn't apply anymore.
That's it.
You know what I mean? I'm sure you know.
I know
it does not apply. So for viewers, I mean, I know some of you will be watching from Ghana or Nigeria or any other African country. Go to school, yeah. I'm not gonna be saying, man, don't bother. Yeah. If you have plans of coming here to study, happy days. Yeah. But if you have plans of thinking, I'm going in there, I'm gonna use your bachelor's degree to find some work, chances are it's really gonna be 99% impossible. Yeah. So it's either you come here, assimilate, and study here, and use that certificate to. So that's something that I learned along the way. Yeah. But I felt, man, so I've done all that school for nothing and I have to sort of redo it again. So it's just one of those. It's just one of those. Immigration-wise is a whole topic.
Yeah, altogether. I feel like that's a deep.
It's proper deep, and we'll probably bring an expert
with
on.
A few rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's still some stuff we can talk about with the certifications and stuff. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Actually, should we go on a quick break and then we come back and then we dive into that one?
Why not? We might as well.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're back.
That's a good short break.
Quick one, yeah.
Yeah, you were saying on immigration about rabbit holes and whatnot.
Yeah, and I want us to go down one particular rabbit hole.
Yeah, go for it.
The other ones will go, like Reggie said, we might get someone that's more knowledgeable about this. Obviously, we have our own experiences, but it's nice to bounce some of our opinions and our experiences off somebody that is actually working in it or has more experience, has been probably maybe they've been to other countries before they settled here, or they, you know what I mean? So like we definitely gonna get someone on who can give a bit more bandwidth.
Yeah, that would be interesting though, wouldn't it? Like, I mean, somebody who's probably lived in a country where English was not the first language. That would be interesting. That would be
super interesting. Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. Anyways, so the part about the certificate. So as you said, like you might have your first degree, whatever, your diploma, HND, which is like a higher national diploma, as we have in Ghana, Nigeria. They have the similar thing, I think, or same. Yeah. And then you get here, and all of a sudden, you put down your resume, and then you're applying for jobs, and then all of a sudden, no one cares. You're not getting calls back. Like, what the hell?
What's going on here?
Yeah, it's like, and even with job experience, like you might have 5 years work experience in a certain field. because of your back home.
Yeah.
So you might be, let's say, a lab technician and you have 5 years. Actually, a lab technician is
It's more
is
pretty
more-
same stuff. Isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
We'll get into
Let's generalize, like
let's generalize.
customer relations
Customer
officer,
relations
something.
officer.
Yeah.
So something that isn't super. I'm not saying that's not a skill based job, but it doesn't have any set of like technical requirements, skill wise,
Exactly.
or any
Exactly.
specific skill sets that are regulated by a body.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's no chartered system.
There's no
for it.
chartered
Yeah.
system. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
come in and then all of a sudden you're applying for stuff and then you're not getting responses. And that's what Reggie was saying. It's like they almost like look at everything that has your home country attached to it.
Yeah.
And then that goes into the bin.
Yeah, literally, because I don't know why it works that way, but because I intentionally say customer relations, because that's what I used to do. Yeah, and then you come down here, you say, oh yeah, I was a customer relations officer, but guess what? There's also a customer support officer here.
Yeah.
In role wise, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a customer liaison officer.
Yeah.
You know, it's all related in terms of the duties that you have to be carrying on a day-to-day basis. So I look at that and I apply for that. I'm thinking, okay, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, then I come down and say, man, we're sorry. What? You know? But yeah, so that's definitely one of the major struggles. And my advice is, if you are back home and you have an opportunity, if you want to obviously come live in the UK, I don't know about other countries, and you want to move here in the future, focus mostly on NVQ courses.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, the UK loves it.
Can you like explain what NVQ courses
So
are?
that's the National Vocational Qualifications.
Yeah.
And obviously it's in levels. So there's level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think.
Yeah.
I think it ends at 7. I'm not too sure.
7 is like a master's level.
And all of that. So whatever they do, they sort of liken it to that qualification.
Exactly, yeah.
So if you are home and you are an electrician and you have an NVQ level 3, believe it or not, it is acceptable here.
Exactly, yeah.
You know.
People don't think about
People
that.
back home will think NVQ, what's that, man?
Yeah.
Go and do your degrees. Yeah, do your degrees.
Yeah.
But if you are an on-hands kind of person, get NVQ qualifications and it will go a long way. Trust me.
Literally, like even for the immigration programs, not just in the UK, but in Canada, for bricklayers, for plumbers, for like people like that.
Yeah.
The only thing is back home, a lot of times these people don't have any like actual piece of paper that says, I know how to do this job and I have the training in it.
Yeah.
They like know the job, but there's no like, there's no proof. Exactly. So if you are one of those people that has been to like a polytechnic or something like that, or like a vocational college, and then you have that certification,
it will go a
long way. And then there's also organizations that can help you like translate
certifications. Well, it used to be NARIC. I think now they call ECCTIS.
Yeah, NARIC or
now they
WES. For like the US,
for US as well. Okay.
World Education Services.
Wow, that's amazing. So well, that's a reflection right there, guys.
Right there.
I mean, jump on that. Trust me.
On it, yeah.
It's gonna help you. That's one of the things that struggles.
Speaking of like the thing about like the education part, and you spoke about like the NVQs and stuff, and obviously those are career paths that mostly have some kind of, as I said before, like some kind of like technical skill requirements, or that prove that you have a certain knowledge about a certain specific area. So, and our education system back home, even here, I would argue, now it's kind of like, I haven't been here that long. I've been been here for like almost 4 years.
Couple of years.
So I haven't been here that long.
Like, don't get it twisted. That's long.
But I feel like slowly we're getting back to the more hands-on, more practical style of education in the UK, I think.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, a cousin of mine just recently came into the UK, and my first advice to him was jump on an apprenticeship. He was like, man, apprenticeship. the man was knocking his way through the whole conversation. Man, I don't want to do this. I'm thinking, man, you have no idea what you're talking about. Because what that's gonna do is that it's gonna give you that certification and the hands-on experience.
Yeah.
And then you can put that on your CV
And say,
and guess what? The UK loves experience.
they do.
They do. They think, oh, you've done this before? Oh man, you can do this then.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, you jumping on a 10K extra,
Yeah.
10K, salary job, and you're thinking, how did I get here? But you got there through the experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can go and do the course on itself. Happy days. It's just the theoretical aspect of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the hands-on, that's what's going to push.
Yeah, apprenticeships are underrated, bro.
Oh, he still didn't listen. And I'm sure you will listen to this episode and you probably double think it.
No shade. Shouts to you.
I'm no shade. I didn't mention your name though. Next time I might just put your name on there.
I don't even know who it is, but no shade.
I'll tell you in the backstage. I'll tell you in the backstage. But yeah, so definitely, I mean, there are a few things that we need to consider. Fine, first generation immigrants, you come into a country where you are definitely not used to the system. Firstly, I think whoever you sort of speak to first, if that person leads you the right way, man, you're gone. You're good.
That's another rabbit hole.
I kid you not. I kid you not, bro. like think about it. How can two blind people cross the street? This is M4.
It's not any random street.
Man, Babylon is M4. It's not backyard streets. You know what I mean?
The M4 is like a big, like major busy highway in the UK.
In the UK, yeah. And then you imagine two blind people crossing it. I'm not shading the blind people. I'm just saying you can't see. You don't cross.
Who's gonna lead who? Exactly. Yeah.
So, if you get a right person to give you the right advice at the right time, you're good.
Yeah.
And that is why I always try to tell people, listen to obvious. Because if you come down here and it's your uncle, of course you listen to your uncle.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. But listen, but also read. Read, just do a bit of reading here and there, and then you never know what you read, and then you can then go to your uncle and say, oh, this is what I read.
Yeah,
what do you think? If your uncle challenges it, and this is probably from a credible side like the governor UK, man, stop listening. Stop listening to the man. No, let's trust
honestly,
me.
yeah,
it's I know people who have come into the UK and listened to family members and whatnot and wasted 6 years of their lives.
Yeah.
And then later on they found out, oh, I should have done this a long time ago.
Hindsight is 2020.
I kid you not.
As you said, like the reading part is what people don't like to do. Especially when I say people, I'm talking about us Africans. It's a common thing. Like you get people, no shade to anyone, but like people would rather, and I get it, like I've been in that position before, you would rather reach out to someone that has walked the path before and then ask their opinion.
Yes, yeah.
But like Reggie said, don't discount the fact that there's all of this information, publicly available information online that you can read.
100%, especially here and in Canada and US.
Literally,
it's all online.
It's all there. You can read, even if it's hard for you to find it, you can go on forums. I know that's something that I've done. I've gone on forums to see what people are saying about a particular thing. Because you might be applying for something and there's a particular quirk with the system that is not documented by the government. Very helpful.
Definitely listen to Cyril on that
Bro,
one. Forums helped me some time ago.
Go on a forum, go on Reddit, or go on any of those like expert forums,
Quora and all
and then read stuff. It's
good
crazy.
Stuff. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I quite remember when I was going to the US in 2021. 2022. I don't know if you remember.
Well, you've been a couple of times.
Couple of times.
Yeah.
And then obviously I was gonna surprise my mom. So my mom didn't even know I was coming. So I was thinking, okay, cool. My sister knew.
Yeah.
So I had to rent a car from the airport and drive home.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay. I called a friend. I said, man, I want to rent a car. This is my plan, yeah? I want to go surprise my mom.
Yeah.
I don't want them to pick Uber or whatever for me, blah, blah, blah. So it's okay, cool. Yeah, just rent.
Yeah.
Okay. So I booked Avis and everything else. And then Avis say, oh, you must know this because you work.
Of course.
You worked in the rental industry in Canada for a while, yeah. So I booked everything. And then I got notification say, yeah, you're all booked. You know, Americans will say all set.
Yeah.
It's like, all set. A day before I left. And mind you, I'm flying with my wife and the entire family.
Whole family, yeah.
So something just said, just read. I went online and I started to read, okay, UK license holder driving in America. Yes, it is acceptable, but you need to pick up the vehicle. You need to generate a code from the DVLA in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
And that's a special code. It's not on your license.
All right.
And then if you get to Avis will request that code.
And then, I see.
Man, my friend didn't know. I'm not blaming him.
Of course, I mean, he lives there.
Know.
How is he supposed to?
Yeah, just book it. Yeah, because it's UK, US is like sister countries, blah, blah, blah. And then I generated this code. And guess what? Picking up the vehicle, they asked me for this code.
Yeah. You're like,
thinking, I've got it. Yeah, there you go.
If
I didn't have it, I would have generated it whilst I was trying to get the car because it didn't take that long. But it would have just been time wasting. I had kids and I needed a car immediately. So reading, go.
Yeah, bro. Like I feel like with the reading is something that people don't really take that extra step to take advantage of all the publicly available information. True. As we said earlier.
Yeah.
And like there's so many this immigrant thing, as I said, there's like so many things we could dive into.
Yeah.
From like work, schooling,
all of that.
All of that. Many different things. But yeah, it's crazy that you wanna if you're taking that step, if you're making that move, you don't really wanna leave it up to somebody, follow someone's secondhand experience like 100%. Of course, it's it's beneficial to have that insight from someone that's been in that position before you.
Yeah.
But the problem is some people, they don't wanna tell you what their feelings are,
or the truth.
Exactly. They already think that you hold them in a certain regard, a certain esteem because
they were here before you,
and all of a sudden
and then you are here now,
you're in Babylon. So all of a sudden
there's no longer that pecking order anymore. You're all on the same Babylon boat, isn't
it?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, which is wrong basically. I mean, if personally I'll tell people how it is, but the way I say it, and my mates would know, I'm sure you would know, this is what I did and that's how it worked for me.
Exactly.
So your choice if you want to go with the same route. If it doesn't, if you think that's a bit extra for you, then obviously you can decide and make a decision based on what you think works better for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try as much, and my mates know, to give the best advice that I can. Because I don't want people to go through the struggle like some uncles and aunties would do with the mentality that, man, you just came, go struggle, make the mistakes and come back to me. That's horrible.
It's horrible. There's no point. That's the thing. If we want to have that that economic power, like within the African community, if we want to be able to have that economic power, we should have some kind of synergy. You know, there should be the same community feel, the same community efforts that we put in back home. As they say, like for sayings like, it takes a village to raise a child. That literally is what happens back home.
Yeah,
where like your aunties and your grandmother,
everybody's
and your granddad,
present,
everyone's
and,
like chipping in somehow.
Yeah,
and so it's the same thing when we come here. It's like, all right, this guy's just arrived. How can we, what sort of advice, what sort of, and that's the way it should be. But
that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. And then, like I said earlier, two blind people can't cross the streets. It is what it is. You know, imagine that. Where you're thinking, man, I'm lost here, and somebody say, yeah, go that way, and they have no idea where that street actually leads you to. So
sometimes intentionally they're asking you to
go in the wrong direction, isn't it? But that's entirely wrong. But speaking of immigrants, still on the topic of immigrants, another thing that we have to talk about. I probably don't have the time for it, but we'll jump on it anyway.
Yeah, we got about like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, I'll jump on it. It's pensions, and I'm sure, man, that's a long.
That's another
it's another rabbit hole, because most believe it or not, most African immigrants are always thinking, man, when I go pension, I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna just relax there, and it's all good here, and then I'll visit here and see the little ones and the grandkids, do a bit of shopping and go back to a 10-bedroom house, back home.
You're only probably ever gonna live in one room in that 10-bedroom. There's no one to like. Yeah. And if you're, I don't want to use any harsh words, but if you're extra special, you make a big story building, and then when you're like 70 years old,
you can't even climb up the stairs.
You given the UK or the US or Canada 30 years of your life, and you can't even go up the stairs,
man.
And all your children are not like they're not there.
That's another thing, isn't it?
Actually, this 10-bedroom mansion
was it worth
it? You know what I mean? Like
that's the thing. Crazy. But when you do live in the UK, you learn a few things. Man, you only need a space that you actually need. Because for the viewers and the listeners, in the UK, most of the homes are like, this is what you need, this is what you get.
That's all you're gonna get.
That's all you're gonna get, isn't it? It's not like, oh man, extra space there and a 50,000 square foot, backyard, and you don't get those kind. If you get it, then it's a perk. So for those of us in the UK, we normally sort of look back and you got a building plan just like how you live here.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Which is ideal, because all you need is probably one room for yourself, one room for the kids if they visit, and whatever it is, and that's it. And then obviously you get a small garden where you can sit and then pop some cigar on and drink some single malt whiskey. That kind of vibe where your mates are coming over. It's like, man, you remember those days when we used to pop without the chits.
Honestly, honestly.
So that's one of those things. But then again, pension is one of the things that I feel like immigrants are not really paying attention to. Because the way it works in UK, I don't know how it works in Canada and in the US.
Yeah, it's quite similar.
It's quite similar, isn't it? Yeah. But the way it works in UK is that when you are working, you are paying your national insurance.
Yeah.
And you are paying your taxes. This is mandatory, whether you like it or not. The national insurance it's pensions. So obviously that is going to give you the government side of pensions.
Yeah.
But your employer would definitely then subscribe you at some point, probably 3 months in, 6 months in, depends on their policy, to a private pension. And that could be people's pension
or like Nest or something.
Nest or whatever it is. And then obviously that would then be your additional pension to go with your government pension. But believe it or not, most of the immigrants and most of our dads and uncles and aunties are not actually paying attention to how much they could potentially earn.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, when I go pension, I'm gonna live here and I'm gonna make 1,500 or $2,000 every month. No, go in there and then find out, because believe it or not, there are projections there, and these projections are normally accurate to probably the 50th percentile. You know, so if you go in there and then you go into like gov.uk, you put like pension projections. That should, I don't have the exact URL in on the top of my head, but obviously if you go on the gov.uk site and you say pension projections, that would give you the exact link, and then you find out whether you're on Nest or you're on People's Pension or you're on Aviva or whatever it is by your company. And then obviously log in there as well. Find a way to log online and find out your projections there. Yeah. And then what then you can do is to combine both. Yeah. And see how much you potentially earn. If that's not enough for you, get a third pension. Yeah. That's just a tip from the BSR. Yeah, or
you could even contribute more.
Out
of
your so basically on your private side of things you can decide that you want to pay more.
Move the dials a little bit.
And then that could potentially put you on that sixth year where you're thinking I'm gonna retire back home in Tanzania or then Zambia or whatever.
If you want a 10-bedroom, you can. We're not saying don't get it. If you
can do your 10-bedroom. We don't frown on that.
Pool and
get your Rolls Royce and all of that, and then you go chill and eat all the what's it called?
What's that?
The organic food ever you can find. That one is definitely a perk when you decide to retire back home, isn't it? The organic food and whatnot, because food we eat here is another topic altogether.
That's another That's another one.
So that's a tip from the BSR guys. Yeah. Just take a look into your pension, find out where you are, see if you potentially be comfortable with that in the future. Yeah. Mind you can factor in inflation if you want in the projections, and then you see where you are. Yeah. And that's another thing. It's a good tip, innit?
It's a good one.
For our lovely listeners. Just because we love y'all.
Because we do. Because we care. Why else?
Why not?
Nice one.
Yeah. So, it was one of those.
Another one,
one of those episodes.
Yeah.
And then we'll do another one for you, lovely listeners and viewers, in the coming week.
Yes, sir. Well, take care. Thanks for tuning in.
And enjoy your week.
Cheers.